Hello and welcome to another video on Microsoft Fabric, and in today's video we are going to discuss how to bring in data from Azure SQL to Microsoft Fabric using Dataflow Gen2. What we are also going to try is going to have two destinations. We are going to move our dimensions table to Lakehouse and the fact table to data warehouse, and we would like to see whether we can do that. And post that, we are going to create view to bring in the data at one place, either to the lake house or warehouse, both the places it's possible, and try to have a data set and analyze that data. So we will jump now onto the Power BI, which is app.powerbi.com, Power BI service, and we are going to try this out. Now to do that, let me use my workspace 01 Fabric, and inside that workspace, let me create a lake house and a warehouse. So I'll click here. What I've done, let me repeat the steps. I clicked on the workspace, went to 01 Fabric. Then from the Fabric, I clicked on new, and inside the new, I have used show all. Once I clicked on the show all, I came here and I used the lake house, and in the lake house, I'm going to use lake dest 1. So lake destination, or let me use destination 1 lake, so that both lake house and warehouse appear at the same place. It will open up the lake house, which you might have seen quite a few times if you are following my series. So I'm just going to close as soon as this lake house opens up. I right now don't need that. I'm just going to move those things in the destination. Again, I clicked on 01 Fabric, which is appearing below the warehouse workspaces now. And in that workspace, again, I'm going to go and use show all. And now I'm going to scroll a little bit down, and there I'm going to use data warehouse. I'm going to create a warehouse, and let me call this dest wh1 warehouse 1 and create. So these are the warehouses and lake house which I'm going to use to put my data into the destination. Now what I'm going to do here is basically I will go and create a Dataflow Gen2, and using that Dataflow Gen2, I'm going to put two destinations, one as a lake house, one as a warehouse. My source is Azure SQL. So let me start the journey. So I again go to 01 Fabric, and in 01 Fabric, I'm going to go to use show all again. Inside the show all, I'll say Dataflow Gen2. And in the Dataflow Gen2, I'm going to say get data. And in the get data, I'm going to click more. So once this is open, we click on the get data icon, and then we say more. And in that one, we move and we search for Azure SQL. So we use Azure SQL database. Now let me provide my credentials here. So here I'm going to give my credential. I already tested it out. So the moment I give it, it might actually take that. So basically what you need to provide, let me say you need to provide server here, database. Then if we require, you can give a connection name. We don't need any data gateway. I'm going to use basic authentication because I'm going to use username and password. But if you have organization account, you can use that. So I'm going to give a database name here, and let me see. Okay, once I need to give the server name here, and post server, I need to give a database name here. And once I give the database name, so server name, database name, and once I give the database name, that it has taken my already existing connection. I can do edit connection details and provide user ID and password. It's a simple authentication. So I'm going to do that. Let me press next and let it load the tables. Now the tables are loaded. What I can do here is I can click on the tables. Now remember, when we click on the table, it did not select that to be loaded in Dataflow Gen2. What we have to do is we have to use these checkboxes, and if the color turned into teal color, it means it's going to load them. So I'm going to check all the 4 tables which I have. This is very common schema which I'm using, and the files are available on the GitHub as CSV, as well as these things are available in an Excel file. You can download and upload that data on Azure SQL. I have already created a video in my big advanced series for the Power BI, where I've shown you how you can load your data to Azure SQL using SQL Server Management Studio. So you can take advantage of that video on my channel to learn that. So now let's click on the create. And once we create, this will load all these 4 tables into my Dataflow Gen2 and start showing me the preview. Now, what I need to make sure, because I'm going to have 2 destinations now, and both we have connector for both the destination now, Lakehouse as Warehouse. Warehouse connector has very recently came in. I already done a video on that. If you remember, those who are following me from very first day of the launch of Fabric, the Warehouse connector was not available, so we were using alternate connector. Now we have the Warehouse connector, so we are going to use that. Now I have customer table, and I need to make sure, because I'm going to move things to the Lakehouse, I'm going to need to make sure there is no gap here in the names. So there is no space in the middle at the end, nothing is should be there. So I'm just checking that out. So I go to geography, also do that testing also. So need to make sure that there is no gap. My state usually have that issue, it do have gaps, so this one doesn't have it. And item dimension, because I'm planning to move all my dimensions to the Lakehouse because they don't require any changes, and I'm going to move my table to the warehouse where I actually need a certain additional column. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to it's not that I'm not going to do any transformation here. I'm going to add 1 column, but I would like to see if I can add more columns there in the warehouse. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a very simple column here as using the add a new column. Those who are following me on the videos know that this is same as the Power Query UI, where you have this add column tab, and inside that you can add a custom column. Call this column as gross amount. Because this is a multiplication column, we always prefer the calculation at row level, and because we can do transformation here in the Dataflow Gen2, so I'm going to do it here, and this is nothing but quantity multiplied by price. So what is my formula for the gross, which is nothing but quantity multiplied by price. So once that is done, I'll press OK in the formula, and once that formula is done, and it should start reflecting the things here. Okay, so now I'm all set. I need to set the destination. There are 2 places under the home tab. You have the option for destination, which is here, and you also have the destination here on the bottom right. So you can use any one of these. Just click on any of the table. So I click on, let's say, customer table, and I go and I say destination, I say Lakehouse, and here I'll just use whatever it is. It's Lakehouse destination is being shown. Our connection means the current connection has been taken into the account, and we are going to continue with that connection only. And inside that one 01 fabric, we have created new destinations. That's where we wanted to move it. So dest lake is the one, dest one lake is the one, and I'm keeping the same table name this time. I don't want to change those. So let's me and all the mappings are correct. As you can see, there is no change required. So I say save setting, and this setting will be changed. Now same thing I will repeat for geography. Again, destination Lakehouse, no change in the connection detail. Next, choose the destination as 01 fabric, dest 1 lake, no change in the table name. Next, all the details are correct. Save setting. And I have repeated this step quite a few times, so hopefully you now remember how to do that. Otherwise you can watch my initial videos for more details where I might have explained these things. So again, I clicked on item, destination Lakehouse, no changes here. Next, now I could click on 01 fabric, and I say destination lake 01. Next, scroll down, see nothing is a problem here, so there is no problem. So let's save this. Now comes the sales table, where I'm planning to give another destination, making sure my gross has a data type, everything has a data type. Now I go here and I say add destination, I say warehouse this time, and let's see, does it allow and does it publish, both things. So now I say 01 fabric again. In the fabric, I say destination WH1. Next, all set. warehouse has been set. So this is warehouse destination. If I click on any one of the table, right hand side bottom, if you go, it will show you a tooltip where it will show where it is going. So now everything is set. I would like to publish it. So there are two options here in the publish now and publish later. I'm going to use publish now, and I say publish. Once I click on the publish, is going to do two steps. One is going to validate this and going to show us the error. So if it is not allowed to have two destination, I'm expecting it to error out while publishing. If it is able to do that, then I'm expecting that it will this, if you see right now it's scrolling here, the icon which is there, which is the loading icon, it's rotating here. This icon should shift at this place, showing me the date. And once that is done, it means the publish has happened. It did not found any issue in the publish. Then it's going to try to load the data. So if this kind of logic can work, where with the same Dataflow Gen2 we are able to load it, both the steps should get completed successfully. So the first step has completed successfully while I was telling you, and you can see now the shift has happened here. Now the icon is at this place, which is showing us what is happening right now. So the data refresh is happening. If you go on the tooltip, it will say refresh in progress. So previously it was publish, now it is refresh. It will take couple of minutes to publish this data, and what we are expecting that our Lakehouse and Warehouse should have data if it publish successfully without any issue. So both the destination what we have at this level are in the same workspace, Fabric 01 workspace, and the source is a common source, that is Azure SQL. So let's wait for this to complete. So data loading is completed and it seems to be successful. Let's have a look at it. I always go to these three dots and look at the refresh history, and in the refresh history I click on this date and I can see that it is showing me success. We are able to see success for each and everything. So let's go ahead and look at our destinations, the Lakehouse, the warehouse. Let's see what's happened here. So destination. So destination lake and destination warehouse. Let's go to the destination lake directly to the SQL endpoint. So what I've done this time, I have not clicked on the lake and then right top and you can see the SQL endpoint here in Lakehouse. I have directly done the Lakehouse because I know you're going to need that. Okay. So I can see all my three tables, very happy with that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open one more tab. I clicked on new tab and I go to app.powerbi.com again. I'm going to go to 01 Fabric workspace. I'm going to open my warehouse and I'll go a little bit scrolling, and this time warehouse I'm going to open the warehouse. SQL endpoint is only there, so we have to open that only. In Lakehouse you have flexibility, Lakehouse view and the SQL endpoint view. Here you have the SQL endpoint. So I got my sales table. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click here and I say select 100 rows. Now I can see the 100 rows, but this is what I don't want to do. I will take this select statement. I'll go back here and I'll say new SQL query here. And in this new SQL query, I'll paste this SQL, remove this 100, and I'll say create view. And one more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on this customer table and say select 100 rows. So it will give me the name, this one. Okay, so I'll copy this as it is. Now I'm not going to create with the name customer. I'm going to say sales underscore WH warehouse. So this is coming from WS. So create view as. So create alter view does not specifying the table. Okay, so we can't use this one. Let's do this one only. Okay, so we don't have to give the Lakehouse name. Simply we can do it like using this. So just wanted to show you the steps. So in case you do commit the same mistake, how to resolve that. So I am expecting a view here, and this view should show me the same data. 30,000 rows I have. So why don't we go ahead and try that out. So we say select count star. 30,000. Now from the SQL 2, so now this is ready. I can create a model here. So, and I can do the same thing in the data warehouse also. So let's first complete this model, test it out, and then we will jump back to the warehouse, and there also we'll try to create a view from the Lakehouse and see what we can do. Now, one more thing I can do here is basically, I have not done that. Let me do that for you. So let me say drop view. Let me try out this. and then I'll tell you what I wanted to do. So I'll say drop view. So I have dropped the view. Now what I'm going to do here is basically I will take the gross amount. So then multiply by discount percentage and divide it by 100. Okay. So, and I'm going to give this a name as a discount underscore amount. So I'm trying to add one more field, and this is view. Okay, I run it and it's run successfully. Let me refresh my view again. So I told you how to drop a view. I told you how to create, and now I have got a view which I should have additional column, discount amount also I got it. Now this is a view, remember this thing. Now I go to the data model and I create my Power BI data model. So quickly let me bring in the sales table into the middle. Those who are watching my videos know, very simple model. Drag customer ID from the sales warehouse to the customer, many to one single directional. Then city ID from sales warehouse to city of the ID of the geography. Okay, it's not able to save the changes. Let me try again. Now sometime it is not going to save some changes, so it's going to give error. Now it has been done. Sometime we need to give him little bit time. Okay, let's scroll it. Now we need item ID, item ID, item ID. Okay, we'll do it again. Confirm. Okay, fine. The joins are there. I just wanted to test it out. That is my report able to take advantage of these joins and give me the data. Half of the data is in Lakehouse, half of the data is in warehouse. And why I'm saying half instead of having 75% table in the Lakehouse, because sales table itself is a really big table. It's a fact table. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I have this new report icon here, and I'll click on this new report. So I'm going to bring in brand. So sales warehouse, then I'm going to bring in gross amount. So item brand, and from the sales warehouse I bring in gross. Then I bring in our discount amount. So I'm able to bring gross amount, I'm able to bring in the discount amounts, and my report is ready. I can save it. I can bring in as many things I wanted, but I just wanted to create a report. So this is report on LK Lakehouse 01, and we are pretty much satisfied. This is working for us. Now what we are going to go do is going to go back to the warehouse here. Now in the warehouse, I want to bring in one table. Let's say I want to bring item table. So what I can do, I can go to the queries of the Lakehouse. So I came back on the first tab. Please remember, I came to the queries, and the SQL 2 was the customer table. So I copy this. This is Lakehouse, destination lake. Note this down. I come to my warehouse. I remove this query which is there, and I say, okay, don't do this. And I'll say create view. Same way I will try here, and I'm this time not giving the complete path. So I say create view DBO customer as. So I say run, and refresh, and I can see a customer view. So I have a customer table, I have a sales table. I want to bring item also. Okay, that's where I want to bring in my this one. So go to SQL query, and here I say create view, select star from item, because I like the brand view. Item. Now case sensitive, so I is small here. I just went to the other tab and tested it out. I was small. I got another table. Refresh the view, and let me see, item is there. Now this is warehouse, this is not Lakehouse. I go to the model, sales, item ID sales, cancel. Let me bring in from the sales table to the item table, many to one single directional. customer ID to customer ID, many to one, single directional. Okay, again, there's some problem today. I think I have to slow down a little bit. Maybe the environment is too busy right now. Okay, so my relationship is created. I would like to create a report, a new report. I click on a new report. Again, now this is I'm creating from warehouse. We expect the same kind of results. So, and that's why I kept a little bit lesser table so that you differentiate that I'm creating this on warehouse. So I bring in my item brand, and then let me bring in gross amount. And I expected the same result. You can see the same results here as well as here. So let me save this report. So you can see that, we can bring the data from one data flow to Lakehouse destination as well as warehouse destination, do transformation wherever you prefer, do half of the transformation in Lakehouse, do half of the transformation in warehouse. And then finally you may want to bring it at one place by creating views and analyze it together into one data set and analyze the final data together in Power BI. So why don't you go ahead and try out this use case, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in this particular series. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.